I can go ahead and give you our review real quick. Do you like Key and Peele? You're gonna like Keanu. Do you not like Key and Peele? You're not gonna like Keanu. And I don't just mean the actors themselves. I mean, did you see the Key and Peele TV series? Did you like that? Did you like their sketch show? That's what this movie is. You've seen,
yes.
You saw Key and Peele. Okay, because that was one thing I didn't know if you had seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I enjoy it, and I also enjoyed this movie.
I have loved Key and Peele's show, actually. Like, that to me, ever since Dave Chappelle ran off and quit the show, Comedy Central has been trying to go like, okay, we need another sketch comedy show starring a comedian in there. Let's just put whoever we can. Like, they've been going through so many different comedians. Key and Peele were the first ones who I actually was like, this is really close to that magic that Chappelle show had. In fact, there were moments in which I was like, Key and Peele might actually be better than Chappelle's show. I'm not saying that as a fact. I'm just saying they were like neck and neck for me. They were like right there in quality. I absolutely loved their sketch comedy show. This movie, though, I'll admit, didn't like it as much as the show. And mostly because this to me didn't really even feel like a movie. This to me felt like a really long skit on Key and Peele.
Right.
Yeah, let's go ahead and say what this is. Basically, Key, who is the tall one, has a cousin who is played by Peele. I don't remember the character names, but let's be honest, you didn't come to this thing to see their characters. You came to this thing to see Key and Peele. Their characters might as well even have been called Key and Peele. In fact, there's moments in here in which they're flat out playing themselves. Mm-hmm. Like there's a moment in which Key is driving Peele around and he's like, yeah man, I wouldn't have to do this if you just got a driver's license. Like, I don't need a driver's license. I grew up in New York. That's why I don't have a driver's license. That was like a recurring bit on their show. And like I've heard them in interviews, like that's an actual thing. Like Peele does not know how to drive even though he lives in Los Angeles. He has to get rides from everyone else and refuses to learn how to drive because he grew up in New York where that was not a thing you needed to know. And it's like, so the moment they had that exchange, I was like, man, why do you even give yourselves character names? Why do you even bother? It's like, you are Key and Peele in this. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because that's kind of, like I said, that's why you came to see this. Mm-hmm. But Key's cousin Peele, he just got over a breakup. We find out nothing about the person who left him. We don't know why she left him. It's partly because he was a stoner. But aside from that, we don't really know much. In fact, she's never even seen outside of a photograph. But
they didn't even mention her name.
Yeah, you're right, they did. I didn't even notice that until now. No, they did once. He said, somebody left me, like whatever her name was, like, but that was it.
That was the only time.
That was it.
And there was only that one photograph.
That one photo, yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. By the way, for anybody who is new to this show, the Post Geek Out reaction is not a review. This is not a review show. This is just our honest thoughts right after we saw the thing that we are talking about, which means full spoilers. So I should go ahead and warn people for that. But I'm going to continue to give a plot synopsis for anybody out there who is like, yeah, I don't really care about spoilers. Which in all honesty, for a comedy, spoilers aren't that important for a comedy because what's important is whether or not it makes you laugh. So yeah, basically, Peele just got dumped and he is just a wreck. He cannot leave the couch. He has not even left the house in days. He's just sitting there smoking weed and crying into his pillow. And all of a sudden, one day, this little cat pops up on his doorstep. And this little cat, it's adorable, this tiny kitten, and he names it Keanu because he says he thinks it's Hawaiian for summer breeze or something like that. But yeah, he gets obsessed with this cat. He does. Like, within like 2 weeks, he has bought all kinds of scratching posts, little exercise things for it, and he is taking photographs of the cat in like famous movie montage scenes. And this is how obsessed he is. Like, people are looking at the photos he's taking. Like, he's taking photos of like the cat on a submarine for Hunt for Red October. Like, those are the kinds of movies he's picking. And someone's looking at it and going, these are really good. You could sell this for a lot of money. And goes, oh no, this is not for sale. I'm not trying to turn Keanu out like that. These are just for friends and family. I was like, wow, this is how obsessed this dude is with it. Is that he will not sell the pictures because he cares that much about the cat. And he's just going to force them on his friends and family. It's like, yeah, that's the relationship he has. But here's the thing about this cat. This cat actually belonged to a drug kingpin. And these two, like, mysterious, almost like boogeyman figures just came in one day. This is how the film opens. It opens up with these two figures. We know nothing about them at all. They just come in and blow that whole place up. It's a massacre, and the cat escapes. And that's whose cat this is. It belonged to a drug kingpin, and those two boogeyman figures, they want this cat back. Those two boogeyman figures never say anything throughout the movie. They're like zombies, basically. They look like demons. But they love this cat, because everybody loves this cat. So the guy who is the brother to the drug kingpin who died, he's looking for the cat. The two boogeyman figures are looking for the cat. But then there's also this street gang called the Blips. It's the people who couldn't get accepted by the Bloods and the Crips. They broke into Peele's house because they thought that it was his weed dealer's house.
Who lives right next door.
And it's played by Will Forte, and oh my god, he might be the best character in this. Key and Peele are great in this, but those brief moments that Will Forte is in this are hilarious to me. And he's playing like the white dude who really wants to be into hip hop and all that. It's like, he really wants to be street, he's talking street lingo, and it's like, man, that is such an old stereotype. Like, we've seen that character so many times. But he plays it with such dedication. I was like, I don't care. It's funny. He's hilarious. Like, and he's just such an idiot too. Like, I love the line in which they're questioning him about why someone broke into Peele's house. And he's like, man, I'll be honest with you. I'm so high right now, I don't even know if you're real. Who are these two men in my house right now? Why are there all these eels all around me? And like, I don't know why that just made me laugh. But so they find out that the Blips broke into the house. They stole Keanu. So now they have to go. These two guys who could not be more like suburban white picket fences minivan guys. They have to go and get the cat back from the Blips. And the Blips think that they're the two boogeyman guys. This is a really complex plot. Like, I thought this was a simple ass plot. But now that I'm explaining it, it's like, wow, there's actually many different twists and turns in this. The Blips think that they're the two boogeyman guys who shot up that entire drug thing. So now they're like, oh shoot, you guys are badasses. Alright, tell you what, I'll give you the cat if you go on a drug run with my guys and show them how it's done. And that's the basic, that's the basic premise of it. It's that these two guys who could not be more, apple pies and baseball and, like I said, just soccer mom kind of guys. They are like, okay, we gotta pretend to be thugged out in the street so that these drug dealers will not murder us and we can get the cat back while these other people are trying to also get the cat back. Ice cream. We heard that thing coming for like 5 minutes. I was like, it's way down the street. It's not even gonna come down the street. And now it's like right outside our front door.
Of course, we're doing this.
So ignore that, folks. All I said, ignore that, and it got louder.
Doesn't help that you're dancing to it.
What was that?
It doesn't help that you're dancing to it.
Oh, this helps everything. This is me just running at a very slow pace to try and catch the ice cream.
It's not even going anywhere. It's like literally just sitting out in front of an apartment.
Alright, nobody cares about that. Ignore it. Ignore me!
We just cut back and we have ice cream cones in our hands while we talk about the movie.
We should do that. Alright, anyway. I think it's leaving it. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Son of a bitch! Alright. Okay, so anyway, that's the basic plot of it. We are going to get into more of the spoilery parts as we get into our discussion. But I gotta say, I like this, but not as much as I like the sketch show. And the reason why is because this just felt like one really long sketch. And there were moments in which I was like, okay, when are you moving on to the next thing? And I'm not saying like halfway through the movie I just got bored with it and I was just checking my watch throughout the rest of the film. Like, it alternated between this scene is hilarious, okay, I don't really care anymore, this scene is now hilarious, alright, when's the next thing gonna come? Because I think a lot of why I felt that way was because these two guys, Key and Peele, their characters, like I said, it doesn't matter what their character names were, because it is Key and Peele, but also they are really flat. Maybe it was just me. Key's character, towards the end, actually does get some layers in there. Which I kind of enjoyed that. Like, there's a moment in which his wife is out of town for the weekend with their kids because they're all going on, like, a little trip with one of their neighbor's kids. But there's a moment towards the end which I will admit, like, the moment that you saw the guy she was going on a trip with, I was like, there's gonna be something happening between, like, you got that sense too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm glad it's not just me, but I was like, something's gonna go down there. And honestly, I thought she was gonna be cheating on him with they were gonna be cheating. But no, there's a moment in which she calls him up. And this is like after they've gone out on the drug run. This is after he has like taken some massive drugs and he's going on like a vision quest. And he's like, I realize what's important. I gotta fight for my family. After he has this realization, she calls up and she's like, listen, he just did something. I'm not gonna say what, but it just made me feel really uncomfortable. And it's weird because like they didn't play it up too much to make it like cartoonish like everything else in here.
Yeah.
Like that was like the one moment that was like, this actually kind of feels real. Like I kind of feel like that's how someone would react if somebody, like I said, they never say what the guy did to his wife. But like she didn't want to say anything, which I think just kind of made it seem more real. And yeah, it was kind of a shocking moment. And yeah, he has like an actual like moment of, he did what? Hold on, like you actually like see him go through development. You actually see like the wheels turning in his head. But that's pretty much the only character development we get for these guys at all.
I don't know. I thought like is it what Peel was?
Peel? Yeah, Peel's a small one.
Yeah, I thought Peel kind of went through like a character development too, because when you first like you said at first, like he was completely run down, he was miserable, he wasn't doing anything. Then the cat Keanu comes along and helps him out. Like Keanu helps him like become more productive and get up and do things.
That's true, but I don't really count that as character development because it happens in like the first 10 minutes. To me, anything that happens in the first 10 minutes is the setup.
I guess so.
So yeah, to me it's like after that, there is a little bit because it's very clear that the cat is a substitute for his wife or girlfriend or whoever it was that left him. I'm assuming it's girlfriend because he's not going through a divorce. It's just a breakup. So the cat is clearly a substitute for that. And when he is there trying to act all thugged out to be a gang member, he meets this girl, High C, and like a relationship starts to form there. So it is like, okay, he's starting to get over her. Although that was one of my problems, is that I didn't really buy their relationship. Like it literally was just like, she was looking at him like, man, you suck. You are a piece of shit. You are not even, like, you ain't nothing. And then all of a sudden, she's like, kind of like, oh, hey. Like they actually are starting to like bond a little bit. I was like, this came out, I did not buy that. That was not the only real thing.
Well, then again, she was an undercover cop. So.
By the way, that was the last big spoiler for this thing. So if you just heard that and you're like, I still don't know if I want to keep watching because I'm afraid they might spoil some, you've heard all the spoilers now at this point.
Yeah, pretty much.
Except for one other small one, which we might get to, but I don't, there's one other small one. But that was the other thing, that was another thing that I didn't like about it. I didn't hate it, but yeah, literally, it gets to a moment in which it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? And out of nowhere, she reveals that she was an undercover cop the whole time, and she busts the gang members who were about to murder Key and Peele. And I was like, man, that just feels like you had no out. That feels like you didn't know how to end this movie. It was a total Deus Ex Machina, but I will say, the reason I didn't hate it was because in a comedy, I'm more willing to let Deus Ex Machinas go, because in a drama, it's about the story. In a comedy, it's about, does it make you laugh? So if you just have a Deus Ex Machina come in and resolve everything, it's like, if I still laugh throughout this and I still had a good time, it's not a deal breaker. So it wasn't a deal breaker, but it was kind of lazy to me. But yeah, she just at the last moment, there it goes. I'm an undercover cop, and I really do like Peele. And they actually are coming to form a relationship. Although the joke that followed that was fantastic, and I almost wanted to stand up and give it a thunderous applause, because one of my biggest problems with films where like ordinary guys who are not cops get into these big crazy situations and they gotta do like a car chase or they gotta end up like, you know, assaulting someone or basically breaking a ton of laws, is that at the end of it they go, well, we caught the true criminals, so you're free to go, thanks for your help, sis. And it's like, no, you'd still go to jail. And one of the things that I love about this is that after like, I don't know if we ever actually got, no, we did get her name. It was like Parker or something? It was a very basic name when she reveals what her actual cop name is.
Like,
I'm just gonna keep calling her High C because that was what we called her throughout the majority of the film.
I think it was like Tina Parker or something.
Parker, but it was
or,
like Parker, okay.
yeah, something
But anyway,
like that.
when the undercover cop, then like she kisses Peel and is like, yeah, okay, we can have a relationship and I'm gonna take care of Keanu. As soon as you get out of jail, and then he gets handcuffs put on him and goes, oh right, all that illegal stuff I did. And I was like, yeah, I love that because it wasn't, because yes, they admitted they did a ton of illegal stuff throughout this film, especially in the last like 10 minutes. But also, like, I love that his reaction wasn't, what, no, but you don't understand. This, like, I was the good guy, I was a victim and all this. He was like, oh yeah, I did break a shit ton of laws. It was like, yeah, he admits it. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so that was actually one of the best jokes in this whole thing, I thought. Let's see, so far we've mostly been talking about Peel, who I thought was pretty good. I thought he was pretty good. To me though, Key stole the whole show. To me, like I said, Will Forte might be my favorite character in here, but only because he's being beaten out by Key, who he is the guy who is the actual, like, I have the wife and the house and the nice job. Like, he is, his actual profession is that he is a, like, team leadership consultant for big corporations. Like, he goes to those corporate retreats and is like, all right guys, I'm gonna show you how to build teamwork. You know, we all have seen guys like that. You probably have them visit your school or your college or your job. But he's one of those guys. And I absolutely love that when he met up with his gang, he tried to use those same skills. Like the first time that he got in like a circle with all the gang members who he had to go out and do the drug run with, he was like, all right, I'm gonna say my name and 2 facts about myself, and then we're gonna go around in the circle. And I was like, this actually is kind of clever. It didn't quite make me laugh out loud, but I was like, that's pretty good. But the thing that made me like absolutely love him, the moment that went from I'm enjoying his character to this is easily the best part of this movie, was when they go on the drug run. Peel and High C go in to do the drug exchange. Key and the 3 other gang members are in the car, and the running gag with Key's character throughout the whole thing is that he loves George Michael, who could not be more of like a lame white guy's version of rock and roll. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he's not talented, I'm just saying that it's like he's in there with 3 thugged out gang members, and they go, come on man, let's put on some tunes. And all of a sudden George Michael comes on and they're like, what the fuck is this? And he has to then break down George Michael and make him seem like a complete badass thug. And it's an art form, what he does there. It's easily the best scene in the whole movie. I don't know, it was for me, I don't know how you felt.
No, it was definitely like really great the way he was able to like interpret George Michael to make him like a total badass.
Yeah, like I Will Be Your Father figure comes on, and he was like, see man, he's saying this because he never had a positive father role model in his life. And then one of the guys was like, I never knew my dad either. And like they were really getting into it. And like it ends with all them just like singing it in the car. Like it keeps cutting back between him in the car and Peel in the house doing the drug exchange. And every time they come back, they're each like listening a little bit more and getting into it a little bit more. It's an amazing progression. That is easily the best scene in the movie to me. And it's the thing that made me go from, yeah, I don't know about this film because it is good. It's a good film. But I don't know. But up until that point, I was like, yeah, this just kind of feels like I'm just waiting for the next joke to come. And there hasn't been anything that memorable yet. That was the one thing that was like, this will be the moment that I point to in this film to argue that it's a really good comedy. And there are several other scenes that are great comedic moments. Sometimes they're small things, like one of the ones I particularly loved was they were asking Key and Peele about what it was like to go up and just blow up that drug ring. And they were like, yeah, so was it truly on the street? They said it was a total massacre. They also said that you just did a flip when someone was shooting at you. And they're like, yeah, everything's shooting. It's like, all right, cool, do the flip now. And they were like, oh, you see, we're not really in the mood to do the flip. And then Key just runs up and does the flip like it's nothing. And then when he walks past Peele, he gives him this look. Like he didn't know he could actually do it. And I was laughing hysterically at that.
Like, and the best part of it is that they tell, like, Peele to do the flip. It's like, no, we alternate.
We alternate days that we flip. Dude, if it was Friday, I would flip the shit out of that. But I don't flip today. It was, yeah. I'm actually being more positive on this now than when I was in the movie. In the movie, because like I said, there were so many times when I was waiting, I was like, yeah, okay, this joke's again. And all. I was like, because, yeah, it is that one joke throughout this. The joke is, it's two bland, middle-aged dudes trying to pretend like they're thugs. And it's that throughout the entire film, and I was just like, man, I've seen this kind of thing before, and it's good for a skit, but it can't carry the whole film. And yeah, it does get old. At least it did for me. I don't know about for you. But it did get old for me, but there are enough good moments throughout this film. Like Key's drug sequence. Like because he actually ends up, just to try and show that he can like fit in, he actually does take a hit. But it's a hit of like this super insane drug that they've been bragging about throughout this entire film.
It's literally called Holy Shit.
Yeah. Oh god, but yeah, that was another great moment. Because he has a dream sequence and he just goes into a George Michael video. Yeah, so that's the thing that I can say about this film, is that story-wise it's okay. Like, it's an actually okay story, and I didn't even realize that until I was saying it and describing it. It's like, wow, there actually are a lot of twists in this thing. Story-wise, it's good. The characters, very flat. The running gag, I felt kind of got old at moments, but there are several scenes in here that's like, it's worth going and seeing the movie just for those scenes. You also mentioned something to me after we got finished watching it, which was that you expected it to be more of just a flat-out comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I thought it was suspenseful, you know, like the whole, you gotta like lie to this gang in order to like survive and just get your cat back, and like the whole time it's like, oh, when are they gonna get their cover blown? Like, that was kind of,
because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, so that was kind of suspenseful for me. It's like, what kind of bullshit are they gonna pull out of their ass this time, pretty much? Yeah, and
I will say, yeah, I see what you're saying. It wasn't, because to me, I never really felt suspenseful, because I was like, I know they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you put it like that, it's like, you know they're going to be fine too, but what you're saying is that you were suspenseful in how are they going to get out.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I can see that. I actually can. I hadn't really thought about it like that. But yeah, I can see that. Especially one moment, like I said, this was the last like spoiler that I was going to bring up, was when those two boogeyman guys find them. Mm-hmm. By the way, they were played by Key and Peele as well in like heavy like zombie makeup.
Yeah, their hair was covering their faces so you couldn't even see them.
Yeah, like, which when I saw them, I was like, that's Key and Peele. But the more it went on, I was like, I don't know if that actually is Key and Peele. That was some pretty darn good makeup on them. Yeah, when they eventually find them, they strap them up and they just start bringing out like all these like weapons to just mutilate them, like a scalpel at first, and like a hacksaw, and like keeps getting bigger the weapons they're going to bring out. They never actually use it, but like you just see Key and Peele like freaking out at it. And I was like, I actually was legitimately tense in that moment. And the way that they get out of it is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
The way that they get out of that particular scene is hilarious. And they actually set it up early in the film. And they set it up with a thing that I was not expecting to ever come back. So I was like, this is a legitimately good moment. And I gotta hand it to him in that scene too. I think this is another great scene because, yeah, this was a film that I really did kind of feel was predictable. Like, I really did feel like I knew where it was going. Up until that moment, because I was like, alright, they're gonna get out of it somehow, something's gonna happen. Yeah, they murdered the boogeyman guys! They murdered! And I was like, not just like, like a cartoonish thing where like they were running out of a building as it was about to explode and like it blew up behind them and they didn't rescue them or get them out of there. No, they were pointing the guns at them, and they were coming up at them, and like you could tell that these two boogeyman guys knew they were not going to fire at them, and they were freaking out like, I can't do it, and then they just load into them. And I was legitimately like, what the, oh my god! I did not think that was going to happen. So yeah, wow, I actually, just talking about this, I'm more positive on this than I thought I would be. Let's see, any final thoughts? I gotta say the cat was adorable.
Yes, very cute.
That was the other thing that I wanted to mention. There's something else that I found really annoying in the beginning, but the more it went on, the more I realized this is actually kind of brilliant, is the soundtrack. I really hated the soundtrack in the beginning. Because like when Key was sad over his girlfriend leaving him, it was super dramatic, but like Hallmark dramatic, like da-da-da, da-da-da, like that kind of stuff. And then like when he was like screaming out Keanu when he finds out the cat's gone, it was very like dramatic, like super like screaming up there, Keanu.
No, like the best part is it was downpour raining. Like
yeah.
No, it's like they were out, seeing a movie, then they came back and there was the rain was falling. I was like, oh, it's LA weather. This rain's gonna like stop in a few minutes, and then they cut to like their house and it's just downpouring, monsooning nonstop. And I think like that was intentional just to make it more dramatic.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't realize it until like later after that. But that's exactly it. In fact, they were coming back from seeing a Liam Neeson movie, and they were talking about how great that Liam Neeson movie, which, by the way, again, this was made for Key and Peele fans, because if you've ever seen Key and Peele, one of their recurring characters on there are two valet guys who just talk about action movies, mainly Liam Neeson. Like, Liam Neeson is the main guy they go to. It's like, man, that Liam Neeson, oh man, that Liam Neeson, like, they just freak out over him. So when they were driving back, it was like, that was a great Liam Neeson movie. I was like, I know who this is for. But yeah, they're driving back from it, and it didn't hit me until like several scenes after that in which they still had the super dramatic music that kind of was like, this is all parody. This is all parody of those types of movies. That's why they also had the Liam Neeson thing in the beginning, because they were like saying, yeah, this is all kind of a parody of how overly dramatic those Liam Neeson kind of movies are. And I was like, that's actually really smart. I totally turned around because I was really annoyed by it because I thought it was just like hammering it in until I realized that's the point. It's hammering it in to be a joke. Yeah, so this movie actually is way more clever than I thought. Any final thoughts you want to give on this?
It's a great movie, and if you love cats and comedy and Key and Peele and suspense.
Cats, comedy, Key and Peele, the KCKP. Do you think there's going to be a sequel? Because there's one thing they do at the end that kind of sets it up for a sequel. Yeah,
but like I don't know if that's like supposed to be set up for a sequel or part of the running gag.
Yeah, I think it was more the running gag, but it could be a sequel. What I'm referring to is that at the end, when they're in prison, High C brings the cat in there to him, and Peele is talking to Keanu on the phone, and then she comes in and goes, I took him to the vet. I have some bad news. He has a very rare medical disease. He's going to be a kitten forever. And I was like, it's funny because it's like, okay, the whole point is that this cat is so adorable that these guys would go to those lengths to save this cat, and that everybody wants this cat because it's so adorable. And then like the final joke is that it's like, it will be adorable forever. But I kind of had the feeling that it's like, this is kind of, could this also be like their way to get a sequel so that they could basically have the cat come back and they don't have to have it grow up?
I felt like another like chip that it might be sequel was like the boogeyman they got up.
Oh yeah, the post-credit scene.
Yeah, the post-credit scene.
Yeah, they
and
were.
That was like also a running gag. Like when Key and Peele like shot them up, they kept coming back up and they kept shooting them and making them fall down and just.
Which I was actually like, they're gonna get back up one more time because like these guys, they look like zombies. They did look like unstoppable Frankenstein creatures. So yeah, I thought that was a great post-credit scene. Although I would say I don't want a sequel to this.
Nah.
Because it's like I feel like it stands pretty well on its own.
Yeah.
But also because, as I said, I don't care about these characters at all. I care about Key and Peele. And Key and Peele could be in any movie where they're just playing anybody. They could be scientists in the next one. They could be astronauts in the next one. I don't care. They could be anything in the next one. They'll still just be playing Key and Peele. So it's like, there's no need for a sequel. Just give me more Key and Peele in other crazy situations. So yeah, that was it. That was our Post Geek Out reaction to Key and Peele. I'm sorry, to Keanu. Which I'll admit, I was actually wondering if we should even do a Post Geek Out reaction for this because, you know, on Professor Thorgy channel we cover everything geeky, which includes like comic books, video games, cartoons. And I was actually thinking, like, there's nothing really that geeky about this other than if you're just a huge film geek. But then I was like, comedy is also a thing that people are geeky about. I mean, I used to be a massive stand-up comedy geek, and I had like an encyclopedic knowledge of stand-up comedians. So, you know, it is one of those things where it's like, yeah, I feel like comedies are worth something that you can just geek out about. But that's also true with any movie. So remember, if there's any film out there that you guys want to see me do a review of, or maybe not a review, but just a post-geek out reaction to, in which we're just, you know, talking about the spoilers and all that stuff, leave that in the comments down below, because, yeah, pretty much any movie can be a geeky thing. Movies are part of pop culture. So, yeah, alright, thanks everybody. Come back next time.